listen up, this ain't no fairy tale. Story of a shadow, the devil's den trail. James McGann, also known as Drew, a wolf in sheep's clothing, nightmare slipping through. Born to blend, but inside he is a killer. Predator, eyes on the innocent, don't hurt me, mister. How to teach, but his mind's all twisted. 3 schools in 3 years, yeah, he tried, but he missed it. Creeping on the girls, too close to it. Tickled them in class, whispered words they feared. If you old, I'd marry you, he said with a grin. Favoring the little ones, giving gifts to win. Parents saw the red flag. Schools did the pro, but he bounced like a ghost, slipping through what no one would know. From Texas classrooms to Arkansas trails, leaving a trail of unease where innocence fails. He's the monster, the animal we all fear, lurking in the dark, bringing nightmares so real. James, Drew, Andrew, call him what you will, but he's the beast with the blade out for the kill. Monster animal, creep in the night, preying on the weak, hiding from the light. Hiking with the fam, mom and dad so brave, protecting their girls from the monster's rage. 2 daughters, pure light, in the woods so green. But Drew the predator crashed the scene. Stabbing in the shadows, devil's den stage. Mom and dad fought back, fueled by fear and rage. Clinton and Kristen, heroes till the end, shielding their babies from the fiend's descent. He admitted the slaughter, cold as ice in his veins. Random, nah, evil don't need change. He's the monster, the animal we all fear, lurking in the dark, bringing nightmares near. James, Drew, Andrew, call him what you will, but he's the beast with the blade out for the kill. Monster animal, creep in the night, preying on the weak, hiding from the light. Now he's locked up, facing the Reaper's call. Capital murder, watch the bastard fall. Parents, stay vigilant. Teachers, check twice. 'Cause monsters like Drew hide in plain sight. He's the fear in the fable, the chill down your spine. James McGann's legacy, darkness defined. Peace to the brinks, warriors true. Your light shines on and your girls do too.
go. It doesn't take much to figure out what my brand of music is, right? You listen to a few of my songs and it's pretty clear which ones I really really enjoy writing. And so that is a song that I just got finished doing with for the James McGann murders of the two parents at Devil's Den. And that's my music. I mean, that's what I grew up with. It's what I love. That's it. So, um, and then I have two that I did with for the Donna Adelson trial, which will be starting here in a few days. So, what do you guys think of that? Did y'all like that? Hey, Lady of Angels. Wow. Member for 26 months. You are a rock star, speaking of rock music. Thank you for sharing the beautiful sunset yesterday. I needed that reset. I think you're talking about the horizontal sunset. Is that what you're talking about? Where it was a rainbow? Yeah, like I said, I've seen it maybe 3 times the whole time we've been living here. But man, when it happens, it's just incredible. So I'm glad you got to see that. And thank you for being a rock star, Lady of Angels. Thank you, Rosebud. Thank you so much. Yeah. So man, I love that music. I love that song so much. It turned out perfect. The only other one that I still like more than that one is the One Lone Tree, probably just because, I hate Barry Morphew so much. But I've got a couple of new ones for the Donna Adelson trial, and so those will be playing. So, occasionally I put my psychologist hat on. You know what I mean? And I don't often like to do it because I think a lot of people find it boring. And that's not the purpose of my YouTube channel. YouTube is for me to have fun. It's a guilty pleasure that I have, and it is unrelated to my job as a psychologist. But sometimes things come up. And it's really hard to stay in my lane as YouTuber. Okay, because that is my role. That's where I stand right now. I'm not anything other than a YouTuber. So, I didn't know y'all were going to see me. I'm in my retro 70s look today. I didn't want to put my contacts on. So these are my 1970s wire rim glasses. At least they say they're very 1970-ish. I don't know, because I was just a very small child in the 70s. So anyway, sometimes it's hard for me to stay in my lane, I guess, as a YouTuber, especially in a situation. I have to be careful how I say this. When it is something that doesn't need to be happening. And you guys can probably tell that I'm kind of struggling with this. Kind of caught me off guard when I saw myself on camera, because I wasn't expecting to be on camera, but here I am. I think psychological perspective is very interesting. Hey, reality wins. I am loving the Disney font and the Pixar face, because I am soon to be at Disney World. In fact, I've been on the Disney World boot camp training, preparing for my 11 miles a day in the Disney parks. And as a byproduct, I've lost 6 pounds. So I'm very happy for that. But the whole point was not to lose weight. The whole point was to get to a point that I can get out there and I can hang with the young people and I can ride roller coasters and I can, eat junk food and stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning and, be there for it. So I uploaded a picture and this is what it generated. Well, it is beautiful. I love it. It's a great choice. Reality wins. Okay, so this is so hard for me, and I thought I could cover for a minute while I tried to come up with how to do this, but I'm just going to do it, okay? Because I think because I think this is something that we should all think about. Like, and I'm not lecturing you because you're not my students, but when I say I think we should all remember it, I'm including myself 100%. I am a very passionate person, and that means that sometimes I get really pissed off. Okay, I get really mad. I'm a fighter in fight or flight. I'm a fight. It's one of those situations where I see something or something happens and my body is going toward the problem and I'm ready for battle, even though my brain is saying, wait, whoa, what are you doing? Sit down, stuff, just calm the hell down. But, my heart is screaming battle. And on more than one occasion, that's got me into trouble. Like, it's got me into trouble. Let me just put it this way, okay? Long Island iced teas and confrontations with the cops, not a good match or mix. So yes, I did in fact try to take on a cop one night after too many Long Island iced teas, and my greatest friend, Billy, he was like, she's really a nice girl. We're sorry. I'll take her home. So yeah, that was a fun night. But I'm a fighter, and it comes out and it shouldn't always come out and fight, and that it's not a good thing, And so there was a time when my dad passed away that I took out a lot of my anger, a lot of my negative emotion got directed onto YouTube. And I'm sure some of you remember that. Not my finest moment, not what I am proud of. But yeah, I fought back. And it wasn't really, it is not a good idea, to fight everything. In fact, it's the mark of an educated and wise person to choose their battles. You know what I mean? We've seen unchecked anger. We've seen displacement. And that's the topic that I'm going to talk about today is displacement. But we've seen it with Christopher Proudfoot. We saw displacement with Christopher Proudfoot, who was under an incredible amount of stress. There were a lot of people pointing the finger at him and accusing him or suggesting that because he had anger issues, he may have been responsible for Sebastian going missing. And he had a little period of time, one moment in particular on Cluminati's channel, where he raged out. He lashed out, and the person that he lashed out at was Brittany J. And he said really things that were unforgivable, really. And I have a hard time believing that he would have said those things on such a public platform. I don't really believe he would have talked like that had he not been stressed, under the gun. Loads of people point their fingers and saying, you look very suspicious because you have anger problems and because there's stories of your past of violence and And I think that was a moment of displacement. I think that was not that I think he's a good guy. I don't think he's a good guy. I think he's got loads of problems with anger and all that that brings. But I think that he gave into it and he took all of that rage and anger that was pointed toward everyone, right? Everyone, nearly everyone believed that he had something to do with Sebastian going missing in one way or another. And it got zeroed in on Brittany, right? And he said so he wished violence on her in the most obscene ways that I'm not going to repeat it. And we played it enough and I don't want to play it again. So displacement, though, can also happen to people, and actually may be more likely to happen to people that are not overtly violent in their natural state. Because people that are a bit more passive, they don't really have the available skills to talk through an existing problem, or they don't have sufficient coping skills to manage the frustration of having the whole world point their finger at you. And so, you know, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? And so, I just wanted to look. I don't know how to do this without it being for me. When I had a lot of emotion after my dad's death, I had a lot of trouble with this channel, Mommy Ramblings blog. She was very bizarre, and there was another girl too, and they were targeting me, and they were lying about me, and they were saying embarrassing things, and it was a mess. I've talked about it before, and I made well, it wasn't a decision. I reacted in anger one night in JS for Justice's channel. It was involving the whole Chris Watts case when he had just come out and admitted what he had done to the two girls. And they lied in this big, open, huge channel, JS for Justice. They lied and they said that I said that Shanann Watts was a pedophile and that she was taking photographs of Jamie's little boy under the water, like his swim shorts. They said that I did that I said it. When what I actually said was, this description was given, and they called the Watts family said that Shanann was pedophile. And it was intentionally manipulated by Mel and Kel and JS for Justice. And it looked real bad. And I had enough. I was at the very end of my rope, and I was very passionate. And I pretty much did, the F you heard around the world for me. And I went hard after JS for Justice. And it was not my finest moment. And I own it, and I have owned it, and I've made my apologies, and that was that. So so I know what it's like to be to be under a great deal of stress, a great deal of emotional distress, to have a lot of problems coalescing and coming together in one moment, where you just sort of let it loose onto whomever happens to be nearby. And again, I think it's the mark of a very wise, well-educated, very intelligent person to control their base instincts. Okay, I can't say that enough. To not respond is the power move. That is the strength. Anyone can go off screaming like a banshee. Little 2, 3, 5-year-old children do it all the time. Anyone can scream and yell and cuss and carry on. Little 2-year-olds do it all the time. But if you're smart, if you have a plan, if you have goals in particular in mind for how you're going to manage your problem, deal with your problem, confront and control the problem, then having a temper tantrum for all the world to see is not a means to an end. It's just you going back into your 2-year-old state and embracing the rage. And it's happened to everyone. Everyone on the planet has had a moment of displacement where you are under a great deal of strain and stress from multiple sources. And so you end up unconsciously, without reason, you unconsciously redirect these negative emotions, the impulse, the even aggression from the person or the situation that's actually upsetting you. You direct it towards someone that is less intimidating or maybe a softer target, right? So I can't even repeat this enough. I am not of the opinion that the psychoanalytic theory is accurate or even desirable. I think there are parts of it that are very, very useful in understanding ourselves and why we do the things we do. But, after Freud got all messed up on drugs, things got weird with his ideas and his writings. And I veer strongly away from that and all of his seduction theory kind of work. But, this idea of displacement, if I was teaching a psychology class, I would tell you that this was like one of his psychological defense mechanisms. But this isn't a psychology class, so I'm not going into that depth of psychoanalytic theory and how your defense mechanisms fit within that. However, when you lash out at another person because you are under immense stress from other unrelated situations, that is your ego that is overwhelmed, and it lashing out. You're trying to protect yourself. It's your ego trying to protect itself from these overwhelming, uncomfortable feelings, but you're avoiding the root cause when you do it. And that if I were to relate that to what happened with me when I finally twisted off and it got directed at J.S. for Justice, the big thing for me was I lost my dad, and I was angry. I was furious about that. And I had the additional strain of what was going on with Crazy Emily and Mommy Ramblings. And it just all kind of, was just kind of right place, right time moment. And it came out like a storm. So again, it didn't take me long to go, well, shit, that's not what I wanted. I hate that I lashed out, really against someone that really didn't have anything to do with what was really the big problem. It was a small problem. Them telling that little lie was nothing. It was just childish YouTube. Yeah. It was nothing to it. It was insignificant. But the things that MRB and Emily and the lost my dad, those were big things. Those were things that these crazy people followed me to work. I mean, it was weird crap. So it happens to everyone because it is a natural defense mechanism that the brain will do when you're just overwhelmed, when enough is enough, when you've reached your breaking point. And so if I were to say this in a way to get away from the psychology of the thing, I guess it is like to target all of this conflict, the fear of consequences, to target that, to be able to get that out, but you do it in a safe outlet, that is displacement. That you're really upset about one thing, but it gets directed towards someone else. Kids do it all the time, right? Teenagers do it all the time. Teenagers go to school, they have trouble at school, maybe somebody's bullying them, maybe somebody's mistreating them, and they don't say a word. They keep everything quiet and under control while they're in the presence of the bully. But then when they get home, they scream at mom. They yell at dad. They kick the dog. Okay, that's displacement. Taking extreme discomfort from an intimidating situation and directing it towards something that feels safer. Same. Okay, I think I've given enough, examples of displacement. We all kind of understand that. But it could even work as a broad, like a bigger. It doesn't have to be molar, MOLAR. It doesn't have to be like individual. Like in my case, my dad died, so I screamed at Jazz for justice. Stupid, but human nature. What is a kid gets bullied at school, he comes home, he kicks the dog. But it can also happen like in the bigger societal level. That's where reparations come from. Like if you're a part of the African American community that has the dark shadow of slavery, they still carry with them the stress, the genetic endowment from those experiences, all work together to still leave a sense of anger and frustration and this desire to sort of exact some kind of, maybe not revenge, but at least some kind of balancing of the scales. So if they could get reparations, if they could get some sort of financial remuneration for the time that the ancestors put in building the country. It's another form of displacement, but on a societal level. So the topic today, though, I'm trying to talk about how YouTube specifically, how YouTubers, creators really screw their channels up through a process of displacement. That your negative experiences in life or on YouTube, your negative experiences do affect you. It doesn't matter if these are virtual friendships or real life friendships. Our research is clear. Doesn't matter. We experience all these relationships as emotional and intimate connections. And so when you feel violated, when you feel bullied, when you feel targeted, when you feel, like you've been put under the microscope of, social justice warriors, then you suffer. It increased stress, strain. And then if you have a partner who may not be particularly trustworthy, it can all come together to cause you to destroy your channel. And you say, okay, well, how is it that I can have, I'm being bullied online, there's gang stalking, I'm dealing with troubled relationship in the house and the home. How does that all come together to cause me to destroy my YouTube channel? Well, how about screaming and yelling at people that support you? How about telling people that support you, I don't need your kind of support because you're not supporting me in the right way? How about that? That's a sure enough a way to destroy a channel. So misdirected aggression. When your subscribers or your friends online receive treatment from you that you really want to be given to the people that are bullying you, but you mistreat your subscribers, you mistreat your friends online because they're the safer option. You'll have outbursts, you will begin to criticize your subscribers in a way that is either completely unrelated to their actions or is disproportionate to something that they may or may not have done. And when you do that, because all you're doing is excising the demons of the bullies. But the subscriber that just got yelled at, the subscribers that are being told that they're not doing it, they're not supporting you in the right way. Not that they're not supporting you, they're publicly on a public platform on a panel saying, I support you, I'm against gang stalking. You decide in your overwhelming emotion, you attack and say, well, you're not supporting me in the right way. You didn't use the right words. And I don't need your kind of support. If you're not going to support me in the right way, if you don't say the words that I can put a stamp of approval on, I don't want you to support me at all. Well, goodbye, channel. That the people that are trying to support you, and they may or may not be subscribers, maybe they are subscribers, maybe they're people that are not subscribers to your channel, but they just disagree with the bullies. They disagree with the bandwagoning. They disagree with the gang stalking. They disagree with that. And so they're standing up for the situation that you're in. And your response is to scream and say, you're doing it the wrong way. I'll tell you straight up. When I was in that emotional storm, I was grateful for the tiniest little word of support or kindness. I didn't care who it came from or in what way it came, because man, I was in a dark place. And I'm choked up now thinking about it, because losing my dad was horrible. So when you when you are in this deep, like you're down, when you get pushed, when all of the pressure, the emotional pressure, when it's coming from all different sides, you've got a group of YouTube creators that are coming at you. You've got your problems with your spouse is coming at you. They've contacted the cops. They've contacted the child CPS. It's coming from so many different directions. You just kind of feel like there's no clear path forward, and then you get very angry about the situation you're in. It feels confusing. You don't really understand. I had no idea why in the hell that crazy lady told her channel, which was a huge channel at the time, not J is for Justice, but Mommy Ramblin', told them that me, a new creator, I don't even think I had like maybe 6,000 subscribers at the time, that I called a district attorney's office in Florida to tell on this lady that was on her channel. I was horrified. I'd never heard anything so crazy in my entire life, and yet I lived it. And people were furious with me, and they didn't believe me. They believed the lady with the big giant channel. It was crazy. I was angry. I was hurt, and I was really sad because my channel had been growing, and when she started all that bull, everything shut down. It was easy to blame Mommy Ramblings. It was easy to blame the things that she was saying and doing and what Emily and Rabid Dog were doing. It was easy to blame them. But at the end of the day, when I took about a month away from YouTube, didn't even watch YouTube really, then I was like, nah, bullshit. I caused that. My anger caused that. Me lashing out and being angry in my channel, I did that. I got to own that. So pressure, emotional pressure, does cause misdirected aggression. It does cause you to treat your friends or supporters in an unjust way. And when you start lashing out at people that don't deserve it, that your reactions are quite disproportional to whatever the person may or may not have done wrong, you are going to find yourself bleeding friends, subscribers, and supporters, because they're going to feel attacked. They're going to feel resentful that what they did do, you didn't appreciate. They're going to feel undervalued. And yeah, they're going to be defensive, and they're going to start fighting back. They're going to start fighting back. The act of telling people who are trying to support you that they're doing it wrong, and that you don't even need, if they're not going to do it the way you want them to do it, then you don't want it at all. You know what that's called? It's called erosion of trust. It is violating their emotional safety. So as these instances of displacement, taking strain and stress from one source and directing it toward a less threatening source, that is the definition of displacement. The repeated instances of this erode the foundation of trust that is mandatory for any friendship. And like it or not, our subscribers, we're in a friendship with our subscribers. The people that subscribe to our channels, they have reason to believe that we are trustworthy. And if they lose that trust, if they begin to look at you like you are no longer trustworthy, that you're a liar, or that you're a grifter, or that you misrepresent the truth for your own means and ends, they will go and search for a new community. Just like people in marriages. If you catch your husband or your wife cheating 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 15 times, 20 times, eventually you're going to say, you know what? I need a new community because this cheating ass is not the community I want to trust and believe in anymore, because he flirts and cheats right under my nose. So you go and search for another community because that's normal. It's normal. It's natural. It's a part of your survival instinct to go in search of people that are safe, to surround yourself with a community of friends and family that have your back, that care about you, that want to support you. It is not survival to look at the people that support you and punch them in the nose over and over and over. And then once you punch them in the nose so many times that they say, oh, I'm going in search of a new community, then you beg and plead for them to come back. I won't punch you in the nose anymore. Screw that. I ain't giving you another chance to punch me in the nose. Not when there's so many other great communities to be a part of. So displacement causes a terrible erosion of trust. It violates the friend or the person that is supporting you. It makes them feel unsafe. I don't mean physically, well, maybe physically, but emotionally, they start feeling like they're just a punching bag. Oh, okay. What is the old saying? Shit rolls downhill, right? They bully you and embarrass you, and then you turn around and bully other people and embarrass other people just because you got to get it out. You want to know the best piece of advice I've got for anyone that is caught in that horrible endless loop? Go for a damn walk. And I'm not being dismissive when I say that. I'm saying that with a mountain of evidence that taking a 30-minute walk completely normalizes your brain chemistry. It causes your dopamine to go up when it needs to go up, or down if it's too high. Does the same thing with serotonin. It calms the hell down your noradrenaline. Go for a walk instead of screaming at a bunch of people online that you don't know, but they believe in you and trust you, and that's why they subscribe to you. Or they disagree with the bullying that's happening, and they're willing to speak out, even though to speak out, you're speaking out against 10,000 people that are enjoying it and having fun. You've got to have a backbone to stand up and say, you know what? I think you suck, because you're all targeting one person, and you're bad to do that. You're a bad person to do that. So the guardedness and the emotional withdrawal that comes from the erosion of trust, when you're engaging in displacement, people begin to protect themselves against your emotional onslaught. And they're just like, no, it's crazy. And I can't pay my own damn electricity bill. How am I supposed to help you pay for an attorney? I can't buy groceries, but you want me to give my money to pay for your attorney? And then because this community is filled with wonderful people, like really decent human beings who are happy to share their resources, they say, you know what? I have a budget, and I allow myself $100 a month that I use for one nice dinner with my husband out once a month. But because my friend online is being so mistreated and has become the target of so much bullying, I'm willing to I'm willing to donate that $100, that one night out with my husband. I'm willing to donate that to the legal fund to try to help my friend online with their problems. And my husband and I will sit out under the stars one night and hold hands and not go out for our nice dinner. And I'm willing to do that because I care about my online friend. And then while you and your husband are planning on popping popcorn to go sit outside under the moonlight rather than going to Pappadeaux's for a nice dinner, they hear that we're buying gold watches and smart watches and gold rings. That is hard to take. That is hard to take. This is not a mystery. This is it's big. DB's asking a good question is, why are so many women angry, jealous, competitive, and obnoxiously rude? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. So what you're asking, the question you're asking is requires an evolutionary answer, is basically the answer. Yes, Snickers, yeah. And it is not. So DB, I will come back to that, but it is if you want a true answer, like if you want a real answer to that question, it does go back to evolutionary psychology and the genetic endowment, scarcity of resources. And that is what's happening on YouTube, is scarcity of resources. Now, what do I mean by scarcity of resources? I hate to reduce subscribers to objects, but I'm about to do that. So please don't get mad. It's only for this academic discussion. Okay, subscribers, people's attention, just in general, not you fine people, you guys are all my friends, okay? Subscribers, the way that the YouTube platform is set up, subscribers and their different types of engagement, what that actually is money. It's money, it's algorithm placement, it's the growth of a channel. And most people are motivated by money only because money is symbolic of safety, health, lifestyle, right? So most people are trying to make money one way or the other. And the majority of people that are on YouTube that have an appreciable size of a channel and they've monetized, they're in pursuit of money. I do think that for one creator in particular that I know of, and I'm not going to name that person, I think this person is very aware of subscribers and where they spend their time and how they spend their time. And I think she long ago figured out that if another YouTuber comes along and people really like that YouTuber and everybody starts watching that new favorite YouTuber, she will lose her income. She will lose views. And she's very aware of this. And I've had 5 or 6 years to sit back and watch how she operates. And she's intentionally trying to interfere with small but successful YouTubers. She does take action to try to interfere with the growth of the channel. Now, I think what people are not aware of is this. She can cause all this mischief. She can create these problems, but you have to participate. If you don't respond to what she does, if you have figured out a formula on YouTube that is working and your channel is growing, keep doing it. Don't let trolls pull you off course. Don't let other creators who are fighting for the survival of their channel and they're fighting for the size of their paycheck. Don't let their games derail you. Don't do that. If you don't watch them, you don't know what they're saying about you. The minute someone comes into the chat and starts their BS, you block them. Don't even talk about it. Oh, you better get out of my channel. Let me block you. The nerve of you coming in and saying that to me. How dare you? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see what that person? Don't do all that shit. All you're doing is giving them exactly what they want, is more subscribers on their channel. If someone comes in and is trolling, just quietly block them and don't say anything. Don't say their name. Don't repeat what they don't. Okay. I'm going to show you an example, okay? Wrong one. Sorry. I'm not a YouTuber, damn it. I'm a psychologist. Y'all got to have some grace for me. I'm not technologically advanced, okay? I'm not. I know about folks. I don't know about machines. All right. So, all right. So this is an example. This was a live that was done. And what you see up in, well, you can't see it. So the three avatars for that channel that's being shown, right? You're saying don't give them the attention they crave. Yes. Yes, Stevie. Okay. So, hey, Wendy, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. If you have not hit the thumbs up, Wendy, I'm begging and pleading for your engagement. Just hit that little thing right there. Just click it. Thank you so much. Oh, you got a baby to rock. Oh, I'm so jealous, Nana. I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. I miss my grandbaby so much. Okay, back on target here. So this is a perfect example right here. These three people on this channel, 6M, and I don't even know what their names are. Okay, I'm not going to say their names. Why? Here's why. Because if I say their names, what are you guys going to do? Y'all tell me. If I say their names, you guys are going to go, oh, drama. Let me rush over and listen to that panel in its entirety. Then you're going to go over there and listen, and you're not going to want to miss the response. And so you subscribe, right? This was a clear example where this small, obscure, unknown channel is standing up and saying, what this group of channels is doing to Brittany J is wrong. I'm against the bullying. I'm against the gang stalking. I'm against the bandwagoning. It's wrong. We shouldn't allow it on YouTube. We shouldn't fall into those unhealthy patterns of behavior. And they're having this conversation. And so, you know, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but, you know, I think there were some things that were said that hurt Brittany's feelings, and they weren't bad. They weren't. I believe this was displacement. I think this was the thing that these three ladies were saying were not hurtful. They weren't aggressive. They weren't negative. But because, you know, things have gotten so crazy between all these channels, Trisha Talks, Queen Bee, Cluminati, J is for Justice, Julie Skolnick. You know, you get raw and you get very tender to criticism after, which is what it's designed to do, right? And so she feels like she needs to protect herself or defend herself. And she pulls this channel up and is advertising the channel. So now everybody runs over to what was formerly a small, insignificant little channel. And she becomes the advertiser and says, here, you don't even have to pay for advertising. I'm just going to pull you up so that I can scream and yell at you. And you're going to gain subscribers because I was not wise in my choices. That's what I mean. So you're better like 100 times infinitum. If a troll pops up, you've got to just block them, not put them in timeout. Hell no. I am all for nipping it in the bud nipping. It's the only way to go. Okay. No, you come in and start talking shit. I'm just going to erase you because you're boring. You're boring. And you make people get off subject. And people in the chat get all irate, and then there's nothing productive that's being talked about, nothing fun being said. It just is a monumental waste of time. But if you're motivated by money and clicks and views, then you welcome that bullshit. You welcome the chaos that comes with the trolls. I honestly, I can't. No, it's not worth it. It's just simply not worth it. I know, I'm fully aware. I know that my perspective is quite different than a lot of other people. I have a full-time job. I work away from YouTube. So if I get 10 views one month and 1,000 views the next month, it's okay. It doesn't matter. And I do think that gives me the freedom to be honest, you know, to not try to play to what's popular or to say the right things or cover the right stories, or, you know, I can just be myself and do what I want to talk about. And I mean, this channel is for my fun, right? So if you're motivated for money, if you depend on your YouTube coin, then you've got a decision to make. You've got to decide if your mental health is worth this. That is the truth. If it wasn't bothering you, then if it was all contrived, then you wouldn't be screaming and yelling at subscribers and telling them that you don't need their kind of support. If this was done because you like the high engagement of the drama, that you wanted the trolls because it increased your income, you would not be screaming at people that were supporting you. You just wouldn't. So I do think blocking immediately, and I mean without looking back. You block them, they're blocked forever. And the only way that they can come back in your channel to talk is if they change their profile. And you know what happens if they change their profile? They change their name. They lose all of the people that knew them. They lose all their friends. People won't trust that it's really them. So it's not optimal to be changing your name and your platform so you can get around a block. So block. Don't just block. Take away from them their ability to be on any part of your channel. Hide them from the channel. Then they can't leave comments under any of your videos. You got to know what you want. If you want to avoid the the damages that come with displacement, then you've got to be guided by wisdom, use logic, know what your actual ultimate goal is. Like what are you trying to do? Because I'm gonna tell you flat out, if what you're trying to do is take down Cluminati and destroy Queen Bee or JS for Justice or any of the others, you're not going to do that. And you're not going to do that because they have a high level of trust with their subscribers. Their subscribers believe them. They feel attached to them. So you're not going to bring them down no matter what. In fact, any inroads that you make to proving that any of these subscribers are lying or they are bullying or they are wrong, it's just going to erode it's going to increase the anger toward you. It's going to increase the viciousness against you. It's not going to make any of those people that are following along with this, that if you end up hurting Clue or if you end up hurting Jay, and I don't mean physically, I'm talking about YouTube channel wise. If you end up hurting any of them, get their monetization removed or whatever, all it's going to do is cause people to hate you more because you're hurting someone they trust. You're hurting someone they care about. You have to have a goal. You have to understand what the trajectory is. Like where you can't just blindly lash out at anything and anyone at any time, lest you look like a crazy person. And it is not just Queen Bee or these YouTube, these bullying, or let's react. They want to call themselves reaction channels. These reaction channels. It's more than that. It's stress in real life too. It all comes together to then overwhelm your awareness. Your frontal lobe is struggling to make sense and generate solutions. But if you can take a step back, if you can find some clarity, if you start walking 30 minutes a day, 2 or 3 times a day, if you start sleeping between midnight and 6 a.m., because that between midnight and 6 a.m., that is when our brains spend the most time in REM sleep. So if you don't get that sleep, let's say you're working shift work as a nurse, maybe you're even if you sleep during the day, your brain is not getting that REM sleep. that we tend to get more efficiently after midnight and before the sun comes up. So trying to being aware to optimize your sleep schedule so that you stay in REM, because REM, stage 3 and 4 in REM, that's when you're getting cellular repair, new cells are growing, you get repair of the joints in your body, the skin, memory consolidation. That's when your body is most active healing. So if you're denying yourself REM sleep, you're going to have a huge emotional baggage that you're going to be dealing with during the day. So displacement damages friendships, misdirected aggression, where your reactions toward your friends are disproportional to whatever the friend may have done. And the continued misdirected aggression or judgment ends up making your friends feel undervalued and attacked. That creates resentment over time. And then when the resentment grows, then they have no more trust in you. They don't feel safe anymore in a relationship with you, and they abandon the channel. They feel like their support of you, their loyalty to you has just been so attacked, and they feel like basically like a punching bag, and that will, make them feel guarded. They're not going to want to be around you. They're not going to want to be there and have to give more money to you out of their pockets. It will erode the bonds of friendships, period. And if there's not already a friendship, if these are just people that are standing in support of you because of the process of gang stalking and bullying, then for sure those people are going to be like, screw you, man. Screw you. I don't watch you. I don't like your kind of content, but I can certainly stand up for you against what is really being done that is immoral on some level. But if I'm going to get yelled at because I'm not doing it the right way, then I'm not even going to stand up for that. Screw that. I'll move along and find some people that will be happy to have, me being on their side and helping them. The displacement increases conflict. It's like displacement is like throwing gasoline on the cycle of conflict and negativity. The simple act of displacement is sufficient to destroy your entire social network. I don't know how many times I've seen it. Somebody in a bad marriage, the spouse is abusive, the spouse is dating other people, infidelity all the time. The hurt spouse starts drinking or using pills or whatever to try to feel better. And instead of yelling at the cheater who might leave them, oh, I can't stand it, my husband divorces me. Why can't you stand it? If the son of a bitch is flirting around and screwing around and having sex with any female that will show him attention, explain to me how you're better off with him. I'd be like, don't you let the door hit you on the way out, buddy. Get out of my space so that I can bring in roses and flowers and new paint job and make my living space calm and happy and healthy, and take all of your weird, creepy needs away. I'll do just fine on my own. But if you just gotta have that man, displacement is going to cause you to lash out at everything. You may even kick the damn dog. You may yell at your mom. There's all kinds. You may overspend. I'll show him That'll show him screwing around on me. Watch me buy this, $1,000 shirt. And what does that do in the end? You feel better because you have $1,000 shirt? No, now you're just broke and can't pay your damn bills. Displacement is terribly destructive. It destroys your friendships. It destroys your job. It destroys your finances. I've seen people go into bankruptcy. I've seen people lose their damn houses because of displacement, because they couldn't face up to what was really wrong. They couldn't look that terribly threatening, awful thing head on and fix it. Instead, they lashed out at things that were less threatening. I'll show him. I just won't pay the damn house note this month. Ha ha ha. Let him go screw around with his bitches. I'm not going to pay my house note. Booyah. Winner. All the way to the poorhouse. All the way to homeless. Displacement creates isolation and it creates long-term harm. It's the kind of thing that provides short-term emotional relief with absolutely zero resolution of the real problem. It's how should I say this? It's putting your priority when you use displacement to manage your uncomfortable emotions, the hurt feelings that you have. All you're doing is it's just the ultimate act of avoidance. It's avoidance and neglect. You've got a big problem that you don't have the confidence to face head on. And so you lash out at things you perceive won't really hurt you. Safe people that you feel like you can mistreat them and they won't lash back. And then you're stunned when those people leave you. You're shocked. This person that you thought was your longtime confidant, this best friend, this person that you were friends with, like from elementary school or whatever, you just keep beating them over the head because while your husband's having an affair. I don't know why I keep going back to that example. There's other examples too, but because something horrible is happening in your life, you take all of that negative emotion and you beat someone over the head that you trust because you think they're safe. They won't go anywhere. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your best friend. And then you're horrified when your best friend says, you know what? F you, man. F you. I'm done. Color me gone. You find someone else to beat up on. I ain't your punch bag anymore. I'm done. I'm out of here. It's real. I'm just speaking truth. That's it. About 4 years ago, I was on a cruise and he came off the wagon after being sober for 2 years. Wow. I'm so sorry, Team Doocy Doo. So sorry. And you know what, Team Doocy Doo? And I don't mean to laugh or make light of someone who's been on the wagon for 2 years and then they abandon that. That's enough to make you lose your shit. It is. And then when they do that and then they start acting stupid, you see the return of the old problems that led to sobriety in the first place. Then you start getting stupid, right? You start acting out and screaming at people, or you're just like, okay, you know what? The first time, maybe bad on me, but I ain't going through this again. So get your crap and get the hell out of my house. And I'll just go get me a new puppy and then I'll be okay. Right? You can get to that point. You can get to that point where the only thing that you can think of is, how do I find peace? I want a happy life. I want a happy life that doesn't include all the problems that come with an alcoholic spouse. I don't want that anymore. I want it gone, and I don't care where he goes. I don't care if you live under a damn bridge. You've taken from me all I'm ever going to give you. I'm not working anymore. I'm not to give you my money. You're not getting another penny from me, not another penny. I've given you money and you've beat me over the head with it over again. Done. No more. Happens. They say if you're going to save a drowning person, you might have to knock them out. There you go. Yep. And Team Doocy Doo understands nipping it in the bud, don't you? Enough is enough sometimes. You know, it's enough. Sometimes you've just got to say, I'm done with your nonsense. Go away. I don't care what happens to you. I can't do this anymore. I want something different, something better. And then you do it. So displacement is very destructive. And the longer that you use avoidance and of the real problems, the longer you do that, the more destructive displacement comes. It's just like your yard, right? If you neglect your yard, if you avoid working in the yard, what do you end up with? A mess. You end up with a true mess. Overgrown grass, weeds take over the grass. When the weeds take over the grass, the rats show up, the bugs are everywhere. It then works to destroy the foundation and the siding of the house. And pretty soon, you get it, very soon, actually, within a year, Mother Nature can reclaim the land. Mother Nature, in a year's time, a yard left alone is sufficient to destroy a house. Did y'all know that? That's how destructive avoidance is. But with just 2 hours once a week, you keep everything nice and healthy and strong. Your house stays strong, your yard stays strong, grass is green and pretty, your flowers look nice, and there's no bugs. Avoidance is a terrible thing. Neglect, terrible. Displacement as a defense mechanism is destructive. It's undesirable. It's not what you need. What you need is a plan. You need to know what your end game is. Like what is the point of what I'm doing here? If it's all about your YouTube channel, right? Like from what I went through with the issue with Rabbit Dog and Emily and Mommy Ramblings. I took some time off when my dad died. I took some time off, and I came to the realization, or no, it was a decision. I came to the decision that I didn't want my YouTube channel to be my job. That I wanted to be able to come here and be with friends and just talk and be goofy if I wanted to, or to be angry if I wanted to sing if I want, just to do whatever I wanted to do. I wanted a place that I could be myself and have fun and not worry about how it might hurt income that I'm depending on. And I went a long time and didn't even monetize any of my videos. I made the ultimate decision that it was more important that I had a channel that was friendly, that the people that were coming to the channel, that it was for fun. And and not, oh my God, I don't want to lose subscribers. I have to protect myself. I have to speak out. I have to correct all the lies. I just made a decision. That's just not at all what I meant. What I didn't want to fight with faceless people online. I didn't want to have an argument with an obviously crazy woman. You know what I mean? I didn't. I just wanted to be able to come to my channel and have fun. That's all that mattered to me. And so that was when I said to everybody, I don't care if anyone's talking about me. Don't tell me. Don't send me clips. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to go look. So don't show it to me. And all the mods, anytime somebody would say, oh, you should have heard what they said about you, one of the mods would say, she doesn't care. She doesn't want to know. She's not going to go look. And I turned off the comments on each of my videos for a long time. I don't remember how long it was, but I had them turned off for quite a long time. And I talked about what I wanted to talk about. I would do a little thing, talk about some crime or something, and then we'd all just sit and chat, right? And, you know, I'm great. I love my channel. I love the people that come in the channel, and it's not a source of stress. It's not a source of stress. And if something starts happening that is stressful, I block. I don't, and I don't unblock. So problem solved. So anyway, but you got to have a plan. If the goal is money, if you are doing a channel because you do need the income, then you're going to want a different set of guidelines for how to manage the situation. And personally, I think that if your channel is your job, if your channel is a source of income, then I think that the rules for not responding should be even harder. That if this platform is your job, you in no way should say a single word that you have not planned. Every word you should say, want to say, should be planned and practiced. You should be prepared for each of your videos because this is your job. This is your job. Do you know what happens to me if I go to work and I'm just sitting there gossiping about everyone and just talking about, I'm not going to have a job very long. When I go to work, I have to have a plan. I have to know what we're going to talk about. I have to know what the ultimate goal or problem is that we're working on to resolve. And I'm careful. I'm real careful. So, no, you can't point. You as a creator, in no way do you have standing at all to point at other creators or to point at subscribers and say, the problems I am having are because you did it. I cannot look at Sketty Nona and said, you caused these problems, Sketty Nona. If you hadn't said that to me, I wouldn't have reacted. Bullshit. No, she can say anything she wants to say. The way I respond and act, that's on me. I'm captain of my ship. No one's ever going to take away the responsibility that I have for what I say and do, because that's what gives me freedom to say what I want to. So I may say something upsets somebody. I may say something that steps on toes, but I thought about it before I said it. I had a reason for saying it, and I meant what I said. I find it bizarre that a lot of YouTube creators live stream and behave as if they're in real life fighters. Thank you. Again, I'm a bit more easily understanding if it's a channel that is purely social, where money is not important. But for people that are trying to take their YouTube channels and make an income, make a job out of them, oh my God. Question here. Do you go to work, or I know there's a lot of people that are like retired right now, but okay, so whether you're retired or you still work, do you go to work and yell at the people at work? Think about it. Do you yell at the people at work? Do you gossip about your coworkers? I mean, maybe you do, but you shouldn't. Because if it gets back to the powers that be, then you're in a lot of trouble, right? So no, hell no. When I go to work, boy, there is a smile plastered on my face, and everyone is my good friend. And sometimes I bring in donuts and pastries and coffee. And no, I am like, mommy trying to be sweet to everybody. And no, I'm in control. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Look, if you go to work and somebody is screaming like a banshee or they're cussing like a drunk sailor, they're going to go home. They're not going to stick around. They're not going to stay at work that day, and they're not going to they may not have a job forever. So don't tell me if you're going on your channel and you're crying all the time and screaming all the time and gossiping all the time, don't tell me that's your job. No way. Don't tell me that, because you're just blowing smoke up my behind. That's all. If it's your job, then you treat your channel with respect. And I don't know about you, but when I'm at work, I don't allow drunk people, drug addicted people. I don't let them come into my waiting room and cuss and scream and yell and say nasty, horrible things about the workers. I don't let that happen. If somebody shows up, some person that with a problem shows up and starts misbehaving like that, I call the cops. I get them out. Period. So don't tell me that this is your job if you're going to let somebody come into your channel and say something stupid. You're ugly. You're old. That's a great one. Oh, look at Jewel. She's so old. Look at her wrinkles. Okay. I'm going to be like, yep. And then I'm going to block them. That's going to be it. I probably won't even say, yep. I'll probably just block. And my mods do the same. They know that I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to draw attention to the person. I'm not going to give the person's name. They're just going to disappear into nothingness. Why would you, the people that are trolling, the people that are hurting you, why would you give them a platform? All you're doing is you're saying, hey, go watch their channel. They're over there talking mean about me. I want everyone to hear the mean things that these people are saying. I'm not going to advertise for my bullies. People will find them readily enough, but I'm not going to help. All right. Harley, aren't you sweet? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, but I'm old, Harley. I've got the battle wrinkles. So I raise my children to avoid drama, to not expend time and effort on that BS. Drama robs you of strength you need when real life steps in. And that's the other part of it that's so important, right? Isn't there enough heartache and anxious, distressing things in the world that we don't need this made up, contrived bullshit? Like, really, if you feel like you have a appetite for drama, if you like drama, why don't you go volunteer at a homeless shelter? There's some real drama for you. Like, you'll see things that you can't even believe exist. Or go and volunteer at the animal shelter. The dogs always need someone to play with them or pet. Why don't you start fostering some animals, some dogs or whatever? Go around and collect stuff to take to Goodwill. Make some donations. There is drama in the world. Real stuff. Real stuff. Not made up bullshit. So, but you know what? Let me say this: butterflies are free. So she's commenting on that Foodie Beauty is back in Syria. Look, she is a perfect example, in my opinion. She is a perfect example of someone who is creating drama. She knows that she's creating drama and she don't care. The only thing that matters to her is her YouTube coin. That's all she cares about. She wants the money, nothing else. She's not looking for friendship online. She doesn't care if people like her. She had 17,000 views on a YouTube, a recent video. She had 17,000 views and 100, I think it was like 105 thumbs up. This is a woman that is hated and she's making bank. She's bringing home the coin. Okay. She's damn near killing herself because the only thing that she cares about is her man. She got salad boy. Good God. If I'm ever sacrificing my health, my happiness, my cleanliness, my ability to eat healthy food, if I'm ever sacrificing myself for a man, just do me in now. No man on the planet, anywhere, in any shape, form, or fashion is worth it. Not one of them. Not one of them. You matter. You have to prioritize yourself. It's your responsibility to put yourself into a healthy lifestyle that is sustainable, period. I stand by that. I believe that my whole heart and soul. And a cheating man, oh my God. If your man is flirting in front of you, if your man is more worried about what he looks like than the work he does to bring home the bacon, that's a man to get rid of real quick, in my opinion. Terrible. Mommin, Queen Fur Day. Right now, one of them. Exactly, that's what I learned in therapy. It's about me and my happiness and what I need to continue to make myself happy. I don't need a man to make me happy. Reality, there's worse things on this planet than being without a man. Yes or no? You know, I'll tell you what I learned. Men are easy. Men are everywhere. Anyone can get a man. You don't need a bad man living in your house and taking your resources. That's for damn sure. That's a throw out the garbage. Yeah, that is. Yep. That is another bud nipping situation, isn't it? Yep. Don't tolerate it. Don't tolerate the disrespect, the cheating guy. No. Somebody to flirt with other women while you're standing there. That person needs to be colored. Goodbye. Gone. So. Oh my goodness. Did I rant and rave for an hour and 30 minutes, y'all? Good gracious. Would be nice to have one, but I don't need one. I don't want anybody to control me. Been there, done that. Not doing it again. Absolutely. And look, of course, companionship is great. Of course it is. And we're herd animals. We're built to run in packs, and we should have a mate. However, how many times have poor choices for your mate turned your home into a prison? How many times has that happened? There are lots of men and women that end up in marriages with people that are horrible people, really selfish, abusive, aggressive, weak, selfish, lazy. And unfortunately, some people think all they need is a man or a woman, and it doesn't matter if they're contributing or not. That's the kind of person I'm talking about. Don't lose the peace and the health of your home to a person who is just using you and taking from you. Don't do that. Your house needs to be a refuge from the greater world. The greater world will beat you down soon enough, right? Your house is supposed to be a refuge. It's supposed to be a place where you feel safe and you feel most at peace. Like right here, as we're sitting here and I'm talking, my desk is filled with colored pencils because coloring, is relaxing for me. I have to show off some coloring. It's one of the things that I do. Here's one of my pictures. It's one of the things that I do that, it helps me in my pursuit of peace. And music helps me in my pursuit of peace. And if I lived with a man who would come in and start screaming and yelling at me because my desk was a mess, had pens all over and coloring books and Diet Coke, that man wouldn't stick around very long in my house. He would be invited to leave if he could not accommodate my quest for peace. So yeah, painting, same, butterflies. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so curious who bought pimp gold watches. That was so, what am I going to call it? Tone deaf. Is that good? Do y'all know what I mean by tone deaf? If you know what I mean by tone deaf, put a 1. It was tone deaf to nightly yell and cry for other people's money to pay for your attorney. And people were gracious and loving. And then you brag about purchasing $600 watch. Tone deaf. And there was something about that. Here's what it is. If I saw a piece of jewelry, a watch, if I saw a watch that I loved and I was like, oh, look at that. Oh, that's so fly. I wish I had that watch. That's so pretty. Ooh, I looked, right? It's one of those moments. And then I look at the price. I'm going to be like, ooh, okay. No, great watch. Can't do it. Sorry. No. And I'm going to walk the hell away. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to somehow in the future decide that, yeah, actually, I do think that watch is a good investment for the money. And I have researched and I have given it some thought. And here are the ways that watch will benefit my life, my ability to make money, my ability to be more efficient at my job, my ability to stay in contact with people that may need me. I'm gonna make a informed and careful, wise choice before I'm going to lay down $600 for a silly watch. No, no. And normally, the way that it has turned out in my family, we don't really buy big things like during the year. I never impulse buy something expensive. But if there's something that comes up and I think, man, I'd sure love to have that. That's great. I'd love that. I need that, whatever. Then the way that it always works out is hey, Bill, I found my birthday present. Look at this. And then show him whatever it is, right? Whether it's birthday or whether it's Mother's Day, Christmas, that's when we tend to do like a $600 anything. Even furniture, I'm going to end up going like to garage sales, or I'm going to go to Goodwill, and I'm talking about like wooden furniture. I'm going to go to those places and we're going to find furniture that we can rejuvenate, like sand it down and restain it or paint it or whatever, outside furniture that we can spray paint or whatever. I had one sofa, very expensive sofa, and I think I kept it. I think I had it 22 years, I think. And I would get it recovered. The frame of it, so it's a company in Amsterdam where the whole frame is like a solid piece. So about every 6 or 7 years, we would load the sofa up and we'd drive it to the upholstery shop and they'd put all new cushions and feathers and, usually I had the same fabric on the outside because I loved my sofa. But then we'd get it redone for a fraction of the cost about every 6 or 7 years. And a couple of years ago, I ended up buying a totally all new sofa that slip covered, so I could take the cover off and wash it and put it back on. But the wooden stuff, my dining room table was put together from like an antique table, and then we just renovated it, sanded it. My desk, the desk, it's beautiful, but not only was it refinished, but a leg had to be, we looked for probably 6 months before we found a leg to replace one of the legs that was broken on it. And it's gorgeous. But I'm telling you, when you work really hard to get your hands on some money, you do what you can not to spend it. Am I right or am I wrong? I've been keeping my distance, but now KR is about to get heated. Are you watching KR? What's KR? Are you talking about me? I'm KR. I've been keeping my distance, but now KR is about to get heated. Are you watching KR? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, I'm the same, Blues. Do you do oil painting, Diane? Man, my grandmother was so talented. She was so talented. You should take some pictures of some of your paintings and send them to me. I'd love to see them. I write, I like to design, I like to do gardening, and I like to dance and cooking. Yeah, I love dancing. An acrylic painter, DB paints acrylic. AJ, I don't know what you guys are talking. Oh, Karen Reed? Really? What are they doing? Is she like suing? Yeah, Queen Mommin. Are you really, Casey? Yeah, I'm KR in real life. Yeah, being frugal. Me too, reality wins. Me too. Being very careful. He's suing her. See, Courtney, the diamond painting, you know, I would love to do that. I just haven't. I ended up, a subscriber sent me I have 2 or 3 boxes of the diamond painting, and I want to do it so bad, and I just haven't found, just given myself the time to get them out and do them. But I need to do that because I love the finished product. They're so gorgeous. You did the drawing during, yeah, absolutely, butterflies. That's awesome. She has civil coming up soon. The O'Keeffes are taking her to court. Yikes. There's going to be another battle, right? That's going to be because they did everything but call the O'Keeffes killers. Yep. Finding hidden treasures among castaway heirlooms is very satisfying and rewarding. Oh, love it, DB. Yeah, in my living room, I have a what is it called? I guess it's just like a TV. Maybe it's a long shelf, but it only goes up to your waist, right? But it's got cabinets and drawers in it. I guess bookshelf, or I don't know, but it's not very wide. It's pretty shallow. But so we don't have like a regular television there. We watch a projector TV, and so I don't have anything there. But all the stuff that's like decorating the top of it, it's either like shells. Like when I was in, I think I was in Belize, and maybe Aruba. I ended up actually finding, when I was out in the water, ended up finding a queen conch shell, and it's gorgeous. Absolutely the prettiest colors ever. So I had that one. I've got a couple of the bigger king conch shells. Couple of big starfish that we found that were dead, and we dried them. What else do I have there? I have a porcelain doll that's from the 1800s. I have a very old clock that was my dad's, and he got it from his grandpa. What else is there? Oh, I have a old, it's a bell, it's a ringer, like a hotel bell, but it's from the 1800s. It's done in the shape of a turtle, and it's the black and gold damascene. My mom got it when we spent the summer in Europe, and I think I was probably like 6 years old or 7 years old at the time, and so that was one of the keepsakes that she bought. And so my whole life, I said, I want that when you pass. And so I've got that. I've got the big thing. Oh, I've got a big crystal parrot. That's up there. So everything that's up there, it's not things that I spent a lot of money on, but it's things that are just really special. They hold memories, right? Like when I look at the Queen Conch, I remember that day with my brother and his wife and playing in the water. There were big, big waves that day because there was a hurricane out, in the ocean. And yeah. So no, I don't. I don't know. Do you guys remember when I got my my KitchenAid blender? Cinnamon Hot probably remembers. Um, I had wanted a KitchenAid for decades, and I just couldn't bring myself to it because they're so expensive. I just couldn't justify $600, $700 for a blender, a mixer. I just couldn't. And that ended up being, I got it 3 years ago, I think. And that year, that was my birthday, my Christmas, and my Mother's Day money all together. And I got like a workhorse. I got the big 750 horsepower. So yeah, no, we don't do money's hard to make. An hour is a long time by comparison to what you get in an hour. And so you save it because you're not always going to have a job, right? One day you're not going to be able to work and you need something saved. So no, you don't spend it. I'm going to tell you this straight up. So my son and his daughter, his wife, are taking me and her mother to Disney World. Isn't that a hoot? It's going to be so funny taking these two little old ladies around the park. Which is one of the reasons I've been doing the Disney boot camp, because I do not want to be slowing them down. I don't want anybody to look at us and go, oh, that's so sad. Look at the old lady that can't walk. So I've been out there just, walking my ass off, literally trying to make sure that I'm strong and I'm good, when I go to the parks, and that I'm free to have fun and ride the roller coasters and not be uncomfortable. But anyway, so my son and his wife are taking us. And so I leave my flight is different from all of them because they're all leaving from different parts of the country, and we're going to meet up in Orlando. And so got me a first class ticket. I didn't pay for it. And so, but, I have to pay for my food, right? Or, I'm sure he'll pay for my food if we are all eating together, but he's not going to pay for like my water and all that. And a bottle of water is $10 in the park. Okay. So it's very expensive, even if all you're doing is buying your drinks. And I keep sitting around and I keep thinking, oh man, I'm going to end up spending $1,000 when I'm there. I know I will. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't go, but I'm not letting myself talk myself out of it. I'm going to take my little bit of money and I'm going to go, and we're going to have a great time. And that's all. We go several times a year and I get a scooter for the week. What company do you use, Stephanie? So usually the first 2 or 3 days, I do fine. I don't have a scooter. But then by the 3rd or 4th day, my feet are hurting, right? That's the biggest complaint, are my feet. And so then I get to the park early and I rent a little scoot around little thing. And I don't drive it like everywhere. We'll go to like one land and I'll park it and then walk all around that land. And then when we go over like from Adventureland over to, I don't know, Tomorrowland, then we'll drive over there and I'll park it and walk around. But I've never had one where I took it back to the hotel room with me. I always just get it there at the park. Riot butterflies? Absolutely. That's Queen Mammon. That's the other thing I told myself. I work literally 7 days a week, like truly 7 days a week. That's not an exaggeration. So that was the other thing. I told myself it's okay. I'm gonna take a week. I'm not gonna do any work at all for 7 days. It's gonna be weird. So, but I do feel I feel like I need it, to be honest. I feel like I'm weary, and so I do need it. And the other thing I did too is last couple of weeks I've been limiting appointments a bit to give myself a little more free time, like right now being able to go live. Yeah, I needed a little bit of time. I needed a little bit. They will drop it off at your resort and pick it up at the end of your stay. Orange Therapy, is that what the company's called? Oh, write it down. What does it cost you for a week? Thank you so much, KC Blues. I have one, but mine wasn't that expensive. I think it was $300. You can keep it for the week and take it anywhere on the Disney property. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, orange. I'm gonna call them and find out. Get the details. Called Big Orange Mobility. 150. It's $100 a day in the parks. 150 for the week. Wowzer. Big Orange Mobility. Thank you. Wow. And if they'll bring it to the park or to the resort and then also take it back, yeah, I'm there for that. I'll need to call my my daughter-in-law and tell her too, because I think her mom is much older than I am. 150. That's amazing. So I'm very excited for the trip. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have reservations to eat at Space 220. Has anyone in here been to Space 220? It is a bargain, DB. That is very inexpensive. When you rent it there at Disney, like at the park entrance, it's $100. And if you have a park hopper and you leave like Magic Kingdom and then you go over to, I don't know, Epcot, you can still get a scooter at Epcot with no extra money. But still $100 a day compared to $150 for the whole week? That's crazy. Do I have to have some kind of like medical, like are they going to ask me that I have to somehow prove I have some kind of medical issue? I'm going to our CE and I rent scooter for a day and it's worth it. $45 a day. Yep. Disneyland 100 years ago, it seemed like, but anyway, I decided to smoke some weed in my Disney suite. Next thing I know, there's a hose coming under the door spraying orange hair. You're lucky they didn't kick you out. That's so funny. But at least they were nice, right? They didn't kick you out. Yeah. Well, very cool, Stephanie. You are amazing. You just saved me a lot of money, or at the very least made it so that I could have a scooter the whole trip instead of just like 3 days. So that's awesome. I know. Can you imagine butterflies, the hose coming underneath the door? That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up with the Karen Reed case. I had no idea that it, the other thing I heard that I didn't have any idea about, on Reddit, I think, there's some talk that the feds are considering charges against Koberger. Isn't that interesting? It's like everyone is furious with Koberger and they just want to see him go down, if you know what I mean. But I would be here for it. I'd be good if they went for it. And then Donna. Oh, do y'all want to hear the song? Hold on. Let's see. Where is Donna? Okay. Let's see. Okay, why is it not come? Wait, here it is. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, put a 1. I may have just disconnected. Did I disconnect? I hope not.
Adelson weaves her
Let
web of spice.
me
Her daughter
hold on. Let me restart that because the sound was way down. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. About Donna Adelson.
In the shadows of Tallahassee's sun, Donna Adelson weaves her web of spite. Her daughter trapped in a marriage undone, Dan Markle, the scholar in her sights. Custody wars rage like a storm at sea. She whispers poison fuels the family feud. No escape for him, no mercy decree. Her heart a void, cold and cruel. Oh, Donna, Donna, with your killer's grin, you plotted the end for your son-in-law, Dan. Bullets in the drive, silence the din. Blood on the pavement, part of your plan. Mother's love twisted into hate's embrace. You hire the shadows to seal his fate. Dan lies cold in eternal disgrace while you smile sweetly, hiding the way. Phone calls in the night, codes and cash flow. Sigfredo and Louis are deadly pawns. From Florida streets to the hitman's glow, drives by execution at break of dawn. Jim Bag's secrets, alibi so thin. She laughs in the mirror, no remorse in sight. Dan's voice silenced his life's final spin. A professor felled in the morning light. Oh, Donna, Donna, with your killer's grin, you plotted the end for your son-in-law, Dan. Bullets in the drive, silence the din. Blood on the pavement, part of your plan. Mother's love twisted into hate's embrace. You hired the shadows to seal his fate. Dan lies cold in eternal disgrace while you smile sweetly, hiding away. creeps near. Tapes unravel the Adelson throne. Charlie in chains, but Donna's the seer, pulling the strings from her gilded home. Airport escape, but the net closes tight. Handcuffs gleam under the fluorescent light. No more denials, no flight in the night. The matriarch falls consumed by her blight.
All right, what y'all think of that one? Pretty good. I think I still like Monster. This is my favorite.
Yo, listen up, this ain't no fairy tale. Story of a shadow, the devil's den trail. James McGann, also known as Drew, a wolf in sheep's clothing, nightmare slipping through. Born to blend, but inside he is a killer. Predator eyes on the innocent, don't hurt me, mister. Hard to teach, but his mind's all twisted. 3 schools in 3 years, yeah, he tried, but he missed it. Creeping on the girls, too close, too weird. Tickled them in class, whispered words they feared. If you were older, I'd marry you, he said with a grin. Favoring the little ones, giving gifts to win. Parents saw the red flag, schools did the pro, but he bounced like a ghost, slipping through what no one would know. From Texas classrooms to Arkansas trails, leaving a trail of unease where innocence fails. He's a monster, the animal we all fear, lurking in the dark, bringing nightmares so real. James Drew, Andrew, call him what you will, but he's the beast with the blade, out for the kill. Monster, animal, creep in the night, preying on the weak, hiding from the light.
All right, and that one is called Monster, and that's James McGann. So, what y'all think? I know I love playing with the music. We are sure different grandmas than we had. I wish I still had mine. She was the OG Nana. Look, absolutely the same Nana. My not my grandmother, but my mama. She was just a delight. And when I say a delight, I mean she was funny as hell. She was very like energetic and active. Loved all of her grandkids, and she just wanted to play. Like that was her, just having fun, laughing. That's all. Just laugh, laugh, laugh. That was my dad's mom. And she really, for the most part, she was my mom, quotation marks. She was the one that if I had problems or something, I'd go to her. Now I'm waiting and hoping that you write a new song about the current YouTube street situation. Oh my God, Casey, it's just, I don't, I was thinking about that when I was working on the new one that I played earlier. I don't know how I would do it in a way that was, I don't know. I just think there's too much. I just think there's too many people are hurt, and I understand it. I understand that there's a group that feel like they're justified and they're fighting back because they feel like they were misrepresented, and that Granny's watching was not treated well, but she was a target, that she was a symbol. It's a shit show, right? I mean, that's really, it's a mess. It's a real mess. So yeah. Right, Amber? I know. That's all right. I'd stay in trouble. I don't care. Music and song reaches a depth that sometimes reaches the unreachable. Totally agree. And that is how I feel about the Barry Morphew or the Suzanne Morphew song. Um, I'm still hoping that the Suzanne Morphew song is going to get recorded by a like a recording artist that everybody knows. But I don't know yet if they're gonna do it. I hope that he will, but we have to wait and see what happens. But it might work. It might happen. If people would just stay in their lane, it would be less of a shit show. I I disagree with that because I think that what created this level of mess has been crossing over lanes. I think there's been a lot of lane crossing on both sides. It's, yeah, things are out of control. I think the only hope, like I think the only way to stop what has happened and what is coming down the pike, I think the only way to stop it is literally to just focus on your channel and your content and don't respond to all the bullies. Don't respond to what they're talking about. Don't watch their videos. Don't engage with people that come into the side chat and start talking about the drama. I think what you have to do is you have to first step, set boundaries, right? If we were writing out like an actual game plan, like if we were, how should I say this? If we were writing a treatment plan, which we're not, but if we were doing a like we were actually mapping out a a response plan, I think step one would be establish hard boundaries, put limits in place, and know why you're making those boundaries. Understand, are they keeping things out or are they protecting what is within? So the first step would be to establish your boundaries. And then I think the second part, after you've got your boundaries intact and ready to go, fortified, then I think the next step would be coping skills. When you set those boundaries and people are out there targeting you and bullying you and you're choosing not to respond, then you have to have some way to control the negative emotional onslaught. You've got to get control of your emotions. You've got to learn how to reframe what the thoughts that are in your mind that make you feel victimized. You've got to reframe them into just statements of fact. And when you reframe them into statements of fact, then your frontal lobe will generate solutions like magically, automatically. So coping skills, knowing how to manage your emotional state, become super important when you're trying to get control of a situation that's gone out of control. And, exercise calms down the amygdala, stimulating the parietal lobe, which basically just means stimulating all sensory information. Try to do sensory stimulating things more often. even knowing what those are, like smelling peanut butter makes your brain light up and dance with delight, or putting a piece of chocolate on your tongue and letting it melt and not biting into it. Taking a hot shower, sitting, in a hot bath with nice smelling soaps. Getting a baby's hairbrush and rubbing down the inside of your arm, not back and forth, but like down and then lift and then down. So that's a really great way to stimulate your parietal lobe. Getting massages is a great way. Also, learn a new skill. Learn how to embroidery, learn how to do diamond painting. All of those things are coping tools, but people don't know to do them. They don't understand that if you do those things, it helps your brain keep your serotonin levels up, keep you feeling relaxed and at peace. You got to learn diaphragmatic breathing. That is a must. Reaching out, making regular contact with people that you care about. That's important. Eating healthy food, maximizing sleep between midnight and 6 a.m. Like, there's a million ways to keep yourself safe against bullies. There's a million ways. You've just got to take the time to learn. And, really and truly, setting your boundaries, getting your channel protected, being very methodical about planning each of your videos, and only talk about the things that you're going to talk about. Don't free speak. Don't let people bring up other people and talk about others. Stay focused on your topic. That would be my first step. And then, finding a therapist, because being, isn't that pretty? Being the target of gang stalking is a horrible, painful experience. It's awful. I can't tell you how bad it is. And I didn't experience 1/10 of what other people on this platform have experienced. So that's what I would do. I would lock my channel down. I would lock out comments. I would make all of the videos or lives, I'd make them all members only. And I'd do that for however long as what it needed. And I would have an outline to do a 1-hour video every night, and I wouldn't do a minute over 1 hour. And I would make sure that anything I said was already planned ahead of time. And I would clean it up and tighten it up and lock it down for a couple of months just to stop the bleeding, just to maintain the health of the channel. And then after things get calm, then start building again, But right now, the way it is, man, people everywhere have their feelings hurt. And when people get their feelings hurt, they lash out. So it's turned into a problem. It really has. All right, folks, I got to go. I've been here a long time. 2 hours, almost damn near 2.5 hours. Please hit the thumbs up if you have not already. And I invite you to subscribe if you have not. I do not have a regular upload schedule. So subscribing at least makes it so that you get a notification when I do go live or I have something put up. And we're going to leave on that note. And I hope to see you guys later. Bye.
Yeah. And I burned that channel. Sinister grifters with a snake oil grin. Voracious virtue signalers cashing in. False PIs, they're fixing the game. Pointing fingers, but they're all the same. Innocent creators, moms with a cause. Digging digging through the chaos, exposing the flaws. We're hunting for clues, untwisting the lies. Who's driving this shit show straight to demise? Convertibles roaring, cliffs in sight, like Thelma and Louise on a forever ride. They sail into YouTube fame, the crash is in sight. We're all on the ride, no brakes, no trust. Popularity is the spark that'll burn their channels into dust. Or it'll burn their channels into dust. Dust. Spark that'll burn their channels into dust. Spark that'll burn their channels into dust. Dust. It's in the dust. That'll burn their channels. It's in the dust. That'll burn their channels. What's in the dust? The dust. The dust. The dust. The dust. The dust. We're all on the ride, no brakes, no trust. Popularity is the spark that'll burn their channels into dust. Dust.